women especially say that the relationship is problem-free. Is it problem-free because you have just altered your life to mirror what your boyfriend likes? Or is it actually problem-free? Damn, Corinne, that hurt.
Welcome to Guys We...
Greetings, everybody. How you doing? Where you been? Did you drink water today? Welcome to another episode of Guys We Fucked.
It's the anti-slut-shaming podcast.
Podnasty.
I'm Corinne Fisher.
I'm Christina Hutchison.
And if you live in Texas, Houston, Texas, I will be there June 27th, Austin, Texas, June 28th and 29th, and Salt Lake City, September 26th, all part of the Eye of the Tiger Tour featuring Chloe LeBranch. Tickets available at CorinneFisher.com. I'll see you there.
And if you're in New York City, Thursday, June 27th or Thursday, July 25th, I have a new comedy show that I am co-hosting and producing at the old Glamour Plus Stomping Grounds. It's called Hooch, and it's at Zinc Bar, 82 West 3rd Street in the West Village, 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. There's going to be a fish bowl with suggestions for the comedians on stage so they can grab it in the middle of their set and then talk shit about whatever's on that piece of paper. You can write it. But either way, I hope you attend. The ticket link for that is in my bio. Follow me at Christina Hutch.
It's very fun.
Yeah, Corinne did the first one. It was a smashing success.
And it's a gorgeous venue.
Oh my God, so pretty. Guys, if you want to email us, you know, it's sorryaboutlastnightshow@gmail.com.
This subject line says, break up with porno-addicted boyfriend?
Okay.
Hi, ladies. So my boyfriend and I have been dating for a little under 2 years. We met on Hinge and immediately hit it off on the first date. We were having great sex all the time in the beginning. He was kind and funny, and I really had no complaints. Well, that's just how the beginning of relationships go.
That's why they say a honeymoon phase.
I still don't have many complaints, except for the fact that he revealed to me recently, after much interrogation on my part.
So it's not really a reveal.
Yes, after you wore him down, that he is addicted to porn and has been for a long time. Now, I'm not the type of girl to consider watching porn cheating. That's just dumb.
Good.
He told this to me about 9 months ago when we were on a trip together in out of state with lots of alone time that I thought would be filled with long and loud sex, but that did not happen.
Because you couldn't watch his pornos.
Wow, I had been feeling off about our sex life for a while, but when he told me this, I was so shocked and hurt. He said that he had just trained his brain over time to get used to that little dopamine hit from watching porn, and that sex had become too emotionally taxing for him. I love his honesty. I love his honesty.
I do too. But boy, that hurts.
Constantly getting rejected, it fucks with my self-esteem and sexual confidence.
Girl.
He is in therapy and has been for years.
Nice.
Seems like he might want to switch therapists then.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's worth it for me to stay, even though I love him and the rest of our relationship is relatively problem-free. I hope you guys read this because I'd love to hear your opinions.
I mean, this is an easy... I say easy. Any addiction is going to be tough, but like, he just needs a plan and some support, not from you, from his therapist or from somebody, to get out of this, to gradually retrain his brain to not watch porn. We've talked to a lot of guys on this show that say, they've given up porn and the sex that they have with their partner is got so much better because they're present and they're not like searching for that dopamine hit the way that you do with porn. I totally get it. So if you really love this person and you guys have a great bond, then I would say he should work on it. But also, to me, if I were in your shoes, I would want to know, how much do you want to work on this, sir? Because if you're not interested in working on this, yes, that's my cue to walk away.
Yeah, because to me, my response is like, everything you said is true about, fixing the addiction or overcoming the addiction. But yeah, to me, it speaks volumes that he's been 9 months ago, he told this to you, he's still addicted. And it doesn't seem like he's taking steps or even really, especially with his comment about real sex being too emotionally taxing, it doesn't seem like he's interested in fixing himself. So the larger problem is right, because that's applicable then to other parts of your life that it's like, okay, maybe the rest of your relationship is problem free, but a lot of that could just be coincidental. Like you just
2
coincidentally
years in.
like the same things or have a similar way of living life. And also, I got to be honest, I don't know how old you are, but if you're in your 20s, a lot of times when women especially say that the relationship is problem free, is it problem free because you have just altered your life to mirror what your boyfriend likes? Or is it actually problem free?
Damn, Corinne, that hurt.
This is why they pay us the big bucks.
That's great. Oh,
I
that
see that.
hurt
I
my
see that so
soul.
much times. I mean,
Totally.
I go, you don't like Star Wars, and I know you don't.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
like that
yeah.
kind of a thing.
Especially as so malleable in your 20s. I feel like women. Yeah.
I watch it. I watch it. I actually watch it play out in real time with a lot of my exes and their new girlfriends, and you know they
Get that Finsta, baby.
like they. Oh, I mean, no, I don't even not Finsta because you know I'm not even looking at the stories. I can just see it play out on the timeline.
I see.
You know, or in my exes, through my exes' stories. You know, I just like, and this
Yeah,
is
and that's
and
never
this is
gonna go well.
multiple. This is multiple people, not you know. But the thing that they have in common is yes, it is mostly women in their 20s.
Right. Girl, as somebody who's done that, I get it. And then it sucks because then you expect them to, suck it up for you maybe one time because you've been doing it the whole time.
Absolutely. And then you become angry.
And then when they don't, get me out of the house. I need to take a walk.
Yeah, but but then in the men's defense, like they didn't ask you to alter your entire personality.
And that's why I'm mad. I'm actually mad at myself.
Yourself. Yeah. And like, listen, I mean, I think there is a compromise in all relationships. Obviously, like, yeah, I'll do a little bit of stuff that I maybe wouldn't be interested in, and sometimes maybe I'll surprise myself and I'll end up liking these things. But I'm not going to continuously like change my hobbies and entire social group to adapt to your lifestyle.
Yeah, because then, the relationship is problem free.
Yeah.
But because you're not being yourself.
Because you are being quiet.
Yeah.
About your needs, wants, likes, interests, etc.
Don't be quiet.
So I would ask myself that question, especially in your 20s. It just feels like you're in your 20s based on a lot of things about this. But and to me, it's like, you shouldn't have to sit your boyfriend down like a fucking counselor and say, hey, what are you going to do about your porn addiction? He has identified the problem because he confessed it to you. And oftentimes I feel like men confess their problems.
Fairly.
Basically, that's code for like, I'm not going to put in the work to help myself, but, I realize it's a problem and maybe you could help me. Maybe you could make that appointment for me to go to this meeting or whatever. It's just like, stop doing all this shit for guys.
Yeah.
It's different if he said, all right, I've done some research, I've looked online, I have a plan for how I'm going to this. I can really use your support during this time in ways A, B, and C. Yeah, I'll
because
show up
he's
for you.
taking initiative.
The amount of times men in my life have had serious mental disorders, and I'm the one fucking Googling it. No.
Yeah, it's not no dice.
No.
That's not a solid foundation
No.
for love to grow.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No.
Tell your boyfriend to fucking get his shit together or you're leaving. Because that's the other thing. I'm like, if you just sat him down and you're like, hey, it's been 9 months. You haven't worked on this. Yeah, I've noticed a clear pattern. It's a deal breaker for me. This is a friendship. We're not having sex. So I'm going to kind of bow out of this relationship. You're probably like, no, wait.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that.
I also think question one is, do was like, I'm not the woman you're talking about, but I understand. I'm a representative of my people right here.
I am Jill.
But yeah, and isn't that, yeah, like, doesn't that make you like embarrassed of the brand?
Yeah.
Like,
That's a pussy ass bitch move.
you know,
To not be yourself.
that's
To not demand anything.
that's the word on the street about white women. Like,
I mean that's
yucky.
I know that's how white women are. That's why like the phenomenon of the Karens. I'm like, yeah, there's a sector of women that I don't know what the deal is, but it's that Karen.
well, it's Karen energy is kind of pygmy energy. It's, you know, people who go to bat for their husband even though their husband's cheating on them because he's secretary. But I mean, I also think
terrible life.
yeah, I also think that many white women have convinced themselves that men of color choose them because whiteness is somehow higher level. It's somehow like that's what they that's what they want you to believe, because if they can convince you that that's the reason they're choosing you, and it's not the reality of the fact that you'll do fucking whatever and you have no boundaries or backbone.
You gotta keep that spinelessness intact.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow.
It's very deep, man.
Yeah.
Again, men are extremely smart and they know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. They do.
Yes.
Okay. Well, if you want to talk about your problems, patreon.com/Christina Hutchinson. I have a Patreon where once a week I do a Zoom group therapy where we talk for an hour about whatever the fuck's on your mind. It could be that you're not feeling like being alive today. It could be that your coworker is really getting under your skin and you don't know why. It could be that you have to talk out. Are you gonna have a kid or not? I don't know. Whatever, you gotta talk out. It's crazy how talking out something with a group of strangers that don't know you feels phenomenal. There's no pill for the feeling that this gives you. It's pretty great. So you can sign up at patreon.com/Christina Hutchinson. And then I have a weekly self-help stream of consciousness solo podcast that I do called The Voices in Our Heads with Mike Coscarelli's Network Sleepback Studios. Episodes are live on YouTube. They come out every Monday.
And if you're interested in learning about the society in which you live, you can check out my podcast, Without a Country. We now live stream every Wednesday night on YouTube at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to participate in the live chat, all you got to do is hit that subscribe button, which is free. It just allows you to chat. You can also call in the show live on air and talk to me about stories that we're covering or about a story that you want to bring to my attention. It's been super fun. Obviously, a lot going into the 2024 election season. Another topic that I've been super interested in is conditions in prison and the lack of rehabilitation and rehabilitative services in the prison system in America. So again, a little heavier of the topics, but we make them fun. We fuck around, and it's also a show where, like, if someone says in quotes like the wrong thing, like we like that doesn't matter. You might say things that feel a little weird or that you wouldn't hear on a buttoned-up news station, but it's like we're actually having real conversations with people whose opinions differ from each other, and it's been a really awesome experience. So again, you can watch on YouTube live stream Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, or you can just wait till the audio comes out the following day, and you can listen to podcasts.
So I went to Governor's Ball yesterday.
Oh, I wanted to. It was fucking sold out for Sunday.
Yeah,
Advance.
yeah. I bought the tickets a while ago because my friend goes every year. And I really do like these things.
Yes.
So I went. I was gonna go. I was gonna hang out. Jesus Christ! I had to like sit down for 10 hours, and then meet up with her. And anyway, it was really fun. A lot of the artists, I obviously was like, she was at like phenomenal. Oh, I love SZA. I love her so much. She's so sexy, and a lot of her lyrics are about like, I'm insecure, I need attention, I
this film that you were in, you know?
Right.
So,
Yeah. Well, it really, another thing about her, like, dressing in these baggy clothes, I'm like, she was so charming. Obviously a fantastic singer. She's an actress. She's, like, meant to be a pop star, this woman.
yeah.
But her charm was able to come through, and I was able to enjoy the show so much because she was just dressed in, like, this cute, baggy outfit that, like, she came through. Like, her titties weren't the star of the show. And I feel like when you're that's why
You have to have a
feels-
personality bigger than your titties.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It feels forced to me when I know you're uncomfortable with the fucking outfit. And I'm like, your manager made you wear this, or whatever the fuck.
But there's an example, like, so you know Sabrina Carpenter?
Yes.
Okay,
love
so
her.
I think she does have a personality bigger than her titties.
Yes, she totally does. And she's so girly and very, like, fluffy pens and purses and
Yep.
stuff. And there was another thing I was thinking, I guess because of Renee's performance, she's fantastic. There was a lot of young women there that were like 14, 15, 16 years old, dressing like whores at a concert. But I love that because it made me go, oh, it reminded me of exactly on the shelf. I'm like, yeah, right there.
You didn't hide it properly.
No,
You didn't block
I'm
this.
very open to being embarrassed. It just happens too much. That, like,
Yeah.
I gotta get used to it.
Yeah, same.
It's a bad feeling, but whatever. It's not going away.
I think it went away kind of early because
For you?
Yeah, because my brothers would embarrass me continuously, like just you're growing
how?
up and the good boys. Yeah, or like I remember this specifically from my mom. I was very tomboyish, but obviously growing up with the boys, it was just she had 4 boys in a row and then me, so I was just like,
Oh, wow.
so I was butch. Like I joke about it that I wanted to transition when I didn't know what the word meant. I just knew I wanted to be a boy.
Oh.
It's so
And I
funny.
hated being a girl.
A product of your environment. It's like nature versus nurture. I grew up with a brother and a dad who loved cars, and I'm obsessed with cars. I'm like
Right.
sexually attracted to muscle cars.
Oh, great.
But I learned it from them. If I didn't grow up with them, I wouldn't give a shit probably.
No, you wouldn't even look at them.
Yeah,
Whatever. Like,
right.
what, like simple things like girl stuff, Barbies, things like that. I don't remember. Like if we had them, they'd rip their heads off, color them in, use them to scare people. Like just
So
bizarre
they tried to
shit.
turn against you, and you joined them. So
Yeah,
that
it's
you
just
could
they
be
can't
mean.
beat them, join them. Yeah, and then I had a little brother and a little sister, but she was just thrown in with the boys as well.
Yeah.
Man, she's not as like sports oriented as I am. Like I couldn't only watch sports. Like I watched what they watched. I watched basketball all day,
Yeah.
football all day. Like my little sister's like, I don't give a shit about that.
Wow.
She was just like, I don't care. I can't believe I'm born into this bullshit.
She got the least amount
Yeah,
of
yeah.
attention, right? Probably, or the least amount of
No,
like
we
a
spoiled
helicopter.
her. We spoiled her because also the older half had to take care of the younger half.
Yes.
Yeah, they're like mini parents.
Yeah, so like my sister Kathleen would always be like, well, I raised Edie. Like that's hilarious. And my mom's like, I'm right here, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, what are you saying? But it was they always had her because it was like cool to have a baby.
Yeah.
And-
She's cute.
Yeah, like oh, yeah, look at my little sister. Look how cute she is.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
it's like
they're
a
they're
Paris
still
Hilton
kids.
Chihuahua. Yeah.
Still
Exactly.
the best. My absolute favorite.
Was your mom stressed out with that many kids?
A little. Yeah, especially since my dad left.
Oh, that was a one-parent household.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
He left when I was like 8. He only moved a couple blocks away, but he's just kind of an ass. that
Did he
way.
send money at least?
No.
What? What a cunt.
For about, I want to say it lasted almost a year. He would give her $110, which is $10 a kid plus $10 for her a week.
Gee, thanks,
And
mister.
then he would take us out for pizza on Thursdays or like McDonald's or something. But it didn't last a full year because we were like, what is this?
Yeah.
What is he doing?
So you stopped hanging out with them, or
We
did
just
you move away?
No, he just stayed right there. We had him before him. He owned the typewriter store. Boy, the hits just keep coming.
That's
The mental illness is.
A typewriter store. Wow. Okay. I love this.
Yeah, he had a typewriter store in South Philly on 20th and Porter, and we had to work there, but there was no business. Like it was dying.
Yeah.
So we would like come up with different ways to fall asleep, So we would have like paper towels and shit.
Yeah.
But it was like a real work shop. You know what I mean? Like we called it the shop. Yeah. We would repair typewriters, and it was nasty in there, and it was.
The oil and stuff like it's the
Oh yeah, it was
very
gross.
greasy.
He would make us spool the ribbons, so our fingers were black for a while. But
Was he
would
mean?
leave? Huh?
Was he like mean? Like how's his demeanor?
He was hit or miss, because he was crazy. He was Marine, so he was very discipline oriented, and he hit us a lot. He hit the boys worse. He always says to me, "Did I hit you, girl?" He doesn't call us by our names. It's boy or girl.
Oh, okay. He probably forgets about
I think
kids.
so.
Honestly.
I did become California girl, so I'm like, he noticed.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, he doesn't say our names ever, except my
Whoa.
sister Karen. That's the only one.
Is that his favorite?
I think.
Okay.
She's the first girl.
I was gonna say,
Is
is
she
she
the
the hottest?
first girl? Yeah,
Oh,
and
yeah.
she is. She is the
Biggest
hottest,
tits
that
of the
bitch.
family.
No, that's
that
the
sucks.
baby. She's all tit. She's all tit.
Damn.
Big top Edie. That's what we call her.
I love the nicknames in your family.
Oh yeah, we torment each other. That's what I mean with the embarrassment. Like we just would throw each other under the bus. But me and Billy are very close, like
Yeah.
Irish twins, and so he would tell, "Oh, my sister has a crush on you," and then I come like running out with a football all dirty, like, "What? Why did I play?" And I'm like, "I'm gonna tackle him. That's how I'm gonna get close to him."
Yeah, that's it.
But the boys were like, well, I can't. I don't like you. The one kid I had a crush on, this kid talking to me about maybe it was a birthday or something. And I hung up and I rolled my eyes and my mom was like, don't do that. That's your father.
Wow.
And I was like, this fucking asshole.
Yeah. Yeah.
Left. Like,
Yeah.
this house is a zoo.
Respect me, men here.
But she was like, no, don't do that. You're doing it for me, and you have to have your own relationship with him. So,
Oh, wow.
That's very helpful.
yeah, so she didn't like ever say, you know, oh, your father this or your father, you know what I mean?
Nice.
She just was like, okay, I have to get a job. I have a real job, and I have to figure it out. So she did. She was a secretary for the Philadelphia Navy Shipyard.
Oh, wow.
And then she worked for the Phillies and the Eagles as
Oh,
a theater
shit.
girl for
Oh,
years.
shit. Philly royalty.
And then, I know. And then she worked for Strawbridges. I'm going way back.
Really? 2 and 5,
It's
baby.
like it's like Wanamaker or whatever. No, she worked for Wanamakers as well. Like
What's
she would
Wanamaker's?
switch. It's the same. It's like Macy's,
Yeah.
whatever. But John Wanamakers was in Center City.
Yeah.
And Strawbridges was right next to it. And so she would go to both. And one time she was just like reading a book because she was bored. And this guy came over and he's like, can you put the book on the thing? And she's like, yeah. And she's like, okay, yeah, okay. And she just put it away. He goes, thank you. And she goes, what's your name? And he's like, Mr. Wanamaker. And she's like,
Well,
sorry, excuse me, motherfucker.
it's like the time out.
Just trying to read.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Get some customers, fucker.
So
Yeah.
your mother was stable.
Yeah.
Seemed pretty stable, like
Oh
mentally.
yeah, seemingly. Like, it's incredible because I think she held it together so long, and now she's like 86, and she all of a sudden like she's like, I don't want to get out. I don't like she's depressed.
Oh.
I really believe she held it in.
And now it's
Yes,
free.
cascaded.
Okay.
It's been the past like 2-3 years.
Wow.
A lesson in repression.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my older sister passed away, and
Oh,
she
so
got
sorry.
like a little depressed. Thank you. But she got like depressed a little bit after that.
Yeah.
And then she was young enough to like still like do stuff, so she would get out more, and then she got over it. Like it was good. And then all of a sudden, this last 3 years,
Just I'm tired.
yeah.
Is it like you think it's like mortality? I feel like sometimes people have a really tough relationship with this like
she keeps
mortality.
praying
To die.
She
Oh,
wants to
that's
die.
different.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay.
So that's
She's
classic
like,
depression.
please, I know.
Classic.
I'm like, hello, it's 101, bitch.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
do this
yeah.
all day.
But when you're 86, I think maybe like hoping to die is a little like it doesn't have to be depression. It can just be like we're
This is
good.
time.
Yeah.
I would do drugs. Hard drugs.
That's my goal.
Why not?
That's your goal. Listen, I don't.
Mine too.
I don't want to make it to 60. I'm good with going out.
Are you
to 60.
serious?
So young.
60's young.
I'm good.
I just met Yakov Smirnov, who's
Oh, the
73.
best. Yakov's a great guy, though.
He was like oddly hot. And he, like, he had a
Yeah, I got some hot texts about Yakov.
he has an energy about him that is like,
unbelievable.
what is this? About like 73. I'm like, you make me excited to be in my 70s. He was
Yeah.
vibrant. He was present. He was more present than most people I know in their 50s and 60s. I'm like,
Yeah.
Man.
yeah, it's true.
Russian. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's Russian. He just comes from a different background, but he's a hard worker. He'll
Yeah.
build you a house.
Yeah.
You're the second person that told me about Yakov.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love Yakov.
I love him.
Was someone else horny for him?
No, just saying what an inspiration.
Yeah.
It was a guy. He wasn't too horny for him, but Ian.
Finance?
Yeah.
Oh, so
yeah,
he
I
might
can
have been
tell,
horny
yeah.
for him
Yeah,
actually.
he might have.
Right.
Classic
You know what?
my guy.
Weird. That's weird. I forgot.
So greedy.
But always trying to get our shit. And no, but he was just saying how he met him and he was such an inspiration. And I go, yeah, because he's still in Branson, right? He would come
He's
back
in
to
Branson.
LA
It's a
little bit.
3,000 seat theater in Branson. And
He's in the theater.
and the community is really lovely. They're a little like it's Bible Belts where he lives, and so he's like, because he's starting a new podcast called On the Couch, I think, with Yakov, I believe. And
Good for him.
he's an incredible interviewer. We've done podcasts for 10 years, like we've done thousands of podcasts. When someone interviews you
Like,
and
for real.
really does their research
Yeah.
and sits down and thinks of like really formulated, thoughtful questions, you're like blown away.
Oh, he
It's
touched
so
your
rare.
soul.
He
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
He touched my
I
soul.
love that.
And he was like, my first marriage had ended, and I was so perplexed how there was so much laughter in the beginning, and then, the years went past, it was just the laughter just completely went away, and I was determined to understand that, so I got a degree in psychology. I'm like, you're a smart motherfucker.
Wow.
That's my kind of man.
Yeah, that's a man.
That's
Wow.
a man. Get your education.
Get it?
Yeah.
Yeah, good for him. He built half the Comedy Store. Like,
Right.
He lived in Mitzi's Mitzi had a house called Crest Hill, and a lot of comics lived in there. His roommate was Dice, and Dice Clay.
And he babysat Paul.
Yeah,
sure.
of course. So he was like raised at the Comedy Store technically. Like he moved from Russia to there, and then all the furniture is like Yakov.
Yeah.
He did everything because that's how he got in. He would do anything.
Interior
for Mitzi.
design, yeah.
And
So
he was incredible.
Yeah, he's amazing. But at 73, he's crushing it.
Yeah.
He's a whole vibe. So I'm curious why 16.
Oh, I don't know. And I shouldn't. That's terrible. You're right. Because now I'm thinking of Dice is 66. And he's another one who's just like running around the streets, still being silly, still goofy. We still go on the road. You know, like he's very vibrant.
Yeah, no, I bought tickets a couple years ago when he was doing those smaller engagements at the stand. Like, 'cause I
so
just
much
wanted
fun.
to watch it as an audience member, not as a comic. I wanted to be seated at a table, not stand at the back. So I just went with my other comedy friend. And because I was so interested, especially because Andrew Dice Clay has such a specific act. And I go, how is he going to do what he does in modern times? And I was
love
like
that.
blown away how he was able, because some comics really struggle with like catching up with the times. And he
Especially if you're hot now.
exactly, like he just did it seamlessly. I was like, holy shit! Like I was really blown away that he was able to still be him, but and make it so that like a younger person would be like horrified and thought about it. But not giving up.
But they still get a little offended, but it's more Andrew meets Dice.
Yeah.
Even the Andrew, the person,
With the character that he created.
So it's like he's grown and he never stopped performing. Like even, you know, he had full custody of his boys. He's like a strong guy. My stepdad's fiance, so I know a lot about him.
Dice?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. You were engaged to Dice?
I always
Make
wondered.
a lot of mistakes. But
Well, I always
he-
wondered if you guys were romantically involved
no,
or
that's a good
not.
No, he's my best friend.
Well, because-
so I always joke that he's second. And he's like, bitch. I'm like, fuck you. But yeah. So I feel like I know too much about him. But
Sure.
at the same time, it's like we've been working together too since we've been split up. You
Yeah.
know? Like he's been married and now has an amazing girlfriend who I hooked him up with. So we're
wow.
very, very close.
That's so
yeah.
healthy.
Was
I
there
love that.
a time in between though? Like you said, you worked right after you split up. Did you have a grieving period? Like,
Well, I had a grieving period because unfortunately I was going through stuff. So I was the one who ruined the relationship, if that makes sense.
Were you like
My best friend,
self-destructing?
yeah,
or-
my best friend passed away. So I was just like,
Oh, so much death in your life.
I
I'm
know,
sorry.
it's
I
a
did the
mess.
same thing. My
kidding.
dad died a couple years ago, and I was like, I went nuts and like I broke up with someone, but like it's really hard. I don't know how people
Do it.
handle intense grief while being in a relationship, and I know like that's the time when like your partner should be able to support you, but it depends at what point you are at in the relationship.
Agreed.
And yeah,
Sometimes you just want to be a maniac by yourself.
yeah.
also, well, this was a guy friend who was my best friend. We were never,
Oh my
ever
God.
romantically involved. He was
Yeah.
just, sometimes I just migrate to guys. And like Mitzi Shore, the owner of the Comedy Store, Freddie worked, his name is Freddie Soto, and Freddie worked for Mitzi for years. And she goes, oh, Freddie's great. He's got the heart of a woman. So maybe that was it. Like he was in the a lot of times, you know, feminine heart, whatever it is. So Sheila, we all love her. We're very close. And when he unfortunately passed away, he was 35.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
So sudden and unexpected.
yeah, it was, whatever. It was the third time he fell off the wagon. I hate to say it like that, but his body had abused it so much that it just his liver shut down.
Yeah.
It was.
Part of this job is our colleagues will pass away from drug addiction.
Yeah. And so it was an accidental. It was ruled as an accidental overdose, which I think was pretty accurate, but it sucks because what he had in his system, most people have on Tuesday.
Wow.
But his body had been through so much because he did it in grade school, in high school. You know, it was his third bout with it, if you will. And then his body just, it was already broken down. So when we did his memorial at the Comedy Store, I think almost 1,000 people showed up. Like we had people in the street. That's how, you know what I mean? That's
love
the kind of
it,
person he was. Yeah. So, and then when I first started dating Andrew, I'm like, hey, don't get weird, but you gotta accept Freddie.
Yeah.
He's your best friend.
Yeah, but Andrew's old school.
Yeah.
Girls don't have
Why you talking to
boy
dudes?
friends, like guy friends, right? And so, and I'm like, dude, like, you met my brothers. Yeah, you met my brothers, you know I'm a whack. And he didn't. But then and he loved him. His kids loved him. We were all very close. And his wife was very close with us. Like, you know, he was married. So, and they had a daughter. She was young and all that stuff. But when he passed away, it just, I guess I was like, you fucked me on him. You know what I mean? Like,
You gotta put something somewhere.
every weird, emotion. And so I would kind of like push myself away from him. I was like, what are you doing? Cool. I accepted it, but in my brain, I was like, you didn't want me for that moment. And then after a while, like, I was like, what are you doing? And then my grandma passed away. And then I just was done. I was a mess.
Yeah, I also feel like there is this like it's nice to want to take personal responsibility because that's not a thing anymore. But like I wouldn't even like. I feel like sometimes we can like blame ourselves too much for this, and I feel like the partner who is right for you will figure out a way to get through.
I will say he tried. He
like,
did.
Can you tell me how he tried?
We did a whole year.
Yeah.
After
Yeah.
and they would just be like, hey, you want to do that? Trying to, because again, he's got full custody of his kids. I'm with him 5 years, helped raise him, all that. So we're all very close. And he's like, let's try this. Let's do this. Let's go ice skating. Like, I went home for Christmas and I was like, I'm just going to go home for Christmas. You guys stay in LA. And he's like, okay. And he let me go. And then he showed up in Philly for Christmas. And my mother was like, we were in church and she's like, Andrew's here. He just showed up. Like, things like
did
that.
the door in the middle of the ceremony.
Like, he
tried different tactics.
That's pretty sweet.
I will say.
That's sweeter than I imagined he would be.
And that's why I think we're still like close friends, because we were such good friends before we started dating.
Yeah.
And then we were both at like a weird point in our lives. He was going through a divorce. I was just trying to be an actress. And then after Freddie passed, like a year and a half later, me and Andrew are still friends, whatever, hanging out, but not crazy hanging out. And then I started doing stand-up. So I started late.
So you didn't do stand-up when you started dating Dice?
That happens so often.
That does happen often.
And I love it because it's just like women just watching men like, I can fucking do it.
Well,
And it's just scary. I love that.
That's what I oddly was a waitress at the comedy store.
So you knew the rhythm, you knew the punchline, you knew.
It's so like just being around that energy. Like I feel like it's like you gotta try.
How old were you when you started being a waitress at the comedy store? Okay, so how is it so fun to be like a 21-year-old woman, like
Those comics are animals.
To this day, the way people, like a lot of the comics cheat waitresses is like,
well, I was at the Comedy Cellar on New Year's Eve, and it was a comic that did this. He heard of me. Oh, you did? Yeah, everybody heard about this. He kept grabbing like tit, like he kept like getting photos, and at first I was like, he's grabbing tit. No, he's not grabbing. I didn't know the guy, and he was really wasted, so I was like, okay, maybe this is out of character. And then he got kicked out right away. Like my immediate, and he's banned from the cellar. But I'm like, wow, how much progress we have made, because how were you treated when you were 21-year-old waitress?
You come in like, they just see the youth, right?
Yeah.
So and these are, I don't want to call them predators, but
They are.
they're close and borderline.
Diet
But there was
predators,
older comics that would walk up and be like, we're gonna fuck.
Ew.
And I go, but their problem is, there might be somebody new from the Midwest might go, oh, I'm from South Philly. I'm like, I'll cut your fucking throat.
right.
Are you shitting me?
I got brass knuckles, motherfucker.
Yeah, I was like, are you crazy?
Yo,
And then
Philly,
they immediately
yeah.
were like, oh, she's like, she's.
I thought they would have gotten an erection knowing
Oh,
comics.
but because I would call him out.
Yeah.
I believe this fucking guy just said, like,
And
they
then
were like,
they quit their shit after
yeah, they
you?
never
That's
bothered.
nice. Yeah.
They never. It all got. There was one guy I had a crush on, hard when I got there. Hard. I was
Comic?
like, yeah. And he doesn't do it anymore. But he doesn't do stand up anymore. It's not my fault, but he doesn't do it.
You don't know
But
that.
he was with somebody. Like so, and we had that connection. That kind of fucked up thing.
Yeah.
I do.
So then they broke up, and she was gorgeous. This
Yeah.
girl, she was like Pocahontas. Like, so I was like,
so
it'll never go for
hot.
me. You know, I'm like a troll comparative to this girl. And then when they broke up, I was engaged to my first ex-fiance. And he's like, fuck.
Was your first ex-fiance also a comic?
No, booking agent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Making the rounds in the business.
I knew comics too well. I'm like, going for the boss.
Yeah, that's smart.
So you've been engaged a bunch.
Yeah, I'm a mess.
No, but then what's like you
Not a
ended it
closer.
before
Not a closer.
But you saved a lot of money
Yes.
because a wedding. I've known people that have had destination weddings and then they get divorced 3 years later. And I'm like, that sucks.
The destination was nowhere.
I'd stay together. I'd stay together because I wouldn't want people to know that they just spent $1,000 to fly to my wedding for me to get divorced.
My friends getting divorced or just whatever. They're separated. They're going through the divorce. It's so much fucking paperwork.
Yeah.
And I went to her wedding. And this girl grew up in Manhattan, Roosevelt Island, Manhattan-ish, you know, back and forth. So she watched you guys. She's like, I'm obsessed with them.
Oh, that's nice.
So she was a waitress with me when we were at the store early in the
cool.
early 90s. And she got married. And she was this wild girl that I met. When she got married, she made me her maid of honor. But she had to have a real maid of honor. So there was two of us because I don't do girl shit. I'm not good.
like
So she
planning
had
and stuff,
a
yeah.
planner, and I was just there to get her down the aisle, emotional support. But the two of us knew so much about each other. And then I gave a speech, and her mom was like, I thought you would go longer. I go, I can't say 90% of the thing.
Yeah.
So, because she was wild, right? Now she's going through a divorce, but every one of her wedding It's like, I don't know, $10,000. It was insane. I think she spent like $90,000. It was in Atlanta. I remember her being on the balcony going, where the fuck are the charger plates? I'm like, what is it? The charger plate?
Right. It's
I
like
never
instead
even
of a
heard of
placement.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The Selma Pure
she
one.
married a guy who had money, and then she just
Did she get? Well, she's going through.
they're
the divorce
going
now,
through
so
it.
hopefully
But
she get that paper.
hopefully, yeah.
She go
And
back
they're
to being
both
wild.
great, you know, whatever. I just feel terrible that it happened, but it was funny. Like, who the fuck are you? Charger plates. You were doing coke in the light booth. What are you talking about? You know what I mean?
Funny. Have you ever been married? Have you ever had a marriage?
No.
Okay, that kind of sounds nice though. You get like the thrill of the engagement.
Yeah.
You get to tell people, and then you get
You're
to like
I'm engaged. You
experience
get to
it.
pick bridesmaids for
Yeah.
a second. The first one, I picked all these bridesmaids, and my mom goes, "What about your sisters?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I love them too."
You're like, that's not exactly first dibs.
That's what I was thinking. And then the second one, I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll have my sister," because it was like later. Now
Yeah.
you're in your 30s. You're like, "Oh shit, okay." But Billy was like
I'm
in
a
my 20s.
geriatric bride.
Yeah. Limping down the aisle.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I was, but then the third guy, we almost got married in Vegas.
Wow.
But-
Wait, 3? You've had 3?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So why did, so we know why the Dice engagement ended. Why did the other 2 engagements end?
The first one,
And this is booking agent, first one?
yes.
Okay.
And he was like, literally broke my heart in a billion pieces.
Oh.
You know, so he's,
How? To cheat?
no, well, kind of, but with drugs. Like
that hurts.
he just went away, like
Oh.
almost like you lost somebody.
Yeah,
Like
that's
he
the
died,
worst
but he's still there.
mistress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it's
terrible.
weird because when I took him to Betty Ford, like people go, "You ever go to Palm Springs?" I'm like, "Yeah, for drop off and pick up."
Yeah.
And that's it. For a while, I was dating guys, and I'm like, "Hey, Betty Ford, person or place? What do you got?" You know, like because it was so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And I took him to 3 different places. Betty Ford was the final one, but he got out of there and started shooting up.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I know, it was insane.
Oh, is he
Luckily, he's
alive?
okay, and he's with somebody, and they have a kid.
Wow.
But he got somebody pregnant.
At the Betty 4?
No,
Oh.
before was it? It was after that. We got him out, and there's a guy at the Comedy Store that's like basically the guy who helps everybody get sober.
Oh man.
Like
nice.
Mitzi the owner of the store used to do it for all the comics.
Yeah.
She put him in rehab. She paid for it.
Yeah.
She did it to a lot of comics. She did it for this specific guy
Oh,
named
wow.
Argus Hamilton.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a staple.
yeah.
And so Argus now helps other people. He's been doing it for
Oh.
years. And so I called Argus because he was the only person. I'm like,
Sure.
he goes, "Tell me what's in the room." I told him. He goes, "You got to leave. You're never going to see that person again." And he goes, he's gone too
It was
far.
too far, yeah.
You'll never get him back. You'll never get the same person. And I was like, he goes, just get all your stuff and get out. That's the only thing I can tell you.
Did you tell? What was that conversation like? You're talking to a wall, essentially.
He was, but at that point, he was shooting up, so he was so high.
He was just doing the lean. You didn't want to ruin it for him.
He was like, it was speedballs or something. When I
what's
told
that?
Argus what it was,
Yeah.
it's a mix, I think, of stuff. And there was a guy in the living room. See, he had told me he goes, I'm living with this guy from Betty Ford, so we're gonna help each other.
Yeah.
So I go, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Fucking naive, 25, right? 24.
Oh,
I'm like, that's amazing, you know?
Men
And
helping men.
so cool.
Get drugs.
We're really gonna help each other. That's good. But I had people that were sober and they had sober companions. So in
Sure.
my brain, I was like, that works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy taught him how to do. They got so good at doing different drugs in Betty Ford.
In
And
Betty Ford?
Yeah, they were, because they started telling each other how they do it. Then they just behave for 30 days or whatever it was, get out,
Yeah.
meet up on the outside. And then I remember seeing notes around the house, like if so-and-so calls, say I'm at a meeting, this one
Oh,
calls,
Jesus
I'm at a
Christ.
meeting.
That's too much. That's too
By the way,
much.
this guy had Hollywood in the palm of his hands.
Are you kidding me?
So he gave it all up.
All of it.
Oh,
All of it.
God.
He, unbelievable. It was still like,
Fall from grace.
yeah. And so when so the guy in the living room, when I saw how my fiance was like just fucking zoned out, I go, what'd you do? What did you guys take? And the guy like, what? And I go, what the fuck? And again, a hood rat, I lose it. I get a baseball bat and I'm fucking swinging at this
That's
guy.
Philly.
I'm like, get out,
Philly.
you motherfucker. I'm losing it. I'm crazy. Like a fucking, and so and this poor guy's like running his high. He's like, what the fuck? It ruins his eye. I just remember him flying down the steps. I don't think he touched any of them.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like
You're
swinging
responsible
at
for
him.
fucking up my fiance.
Yeah, and
I mean,
I'm like,
in
get
your head.
the fuck out, don't ever come back, you know? And I think I put a hole in the wall, because I mean, I just blacked out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then I went back, and that's when I called Arias, and he's like, you gotta get out of there.
Yeah.
And you just
And
left.
Yeah, I left, and
Did he call you? Like, when was the last
Oh, a
next time
million
you
times. I had 170. It was a beeper at that time.
Yeah,
170 messages, and it went from where'd you go? I love you. I this, and then it would go from I fucking hate you. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill your whole family. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not gonna happen.
yeah.
Right.
You know, like
Yeah.
we'll kill you first.
Yeah.
I know my family.
Philly bitch. Yeah, wow.
You're from Mount Vernon.
Damn.
Pussy ass bitch.
Yeah, and he's unbelievable. Like he repped comics, and he got fired. He used to work at William Morris as like an assistant.
Yeah.
He got fired from there for catering to his black clients. They told him there's no money in black comedy, and he was like,
Jesus Christ.
"What the fuck are you saying?"
Worst
Are
thing
you
ever
kidding me?
said because it's
And
so
I-
inaccurate.
Yeah.
So completely
racist.
inaccurate, but also this is the 90s, late 80s, 90s. This
Yeah.
happened to him, right? So he goes, "Fuck you! I'm gonna prove that they're it," because he got pissed off.
Yeah.
And his brother's a huge entertainment lawyer, and he got him in that job. So now his only thing, he flips out on the guy, quits, and took all his clients with him.
Oh,
right?
wow.
But only thing he was worried about is his brother being mad at him, because he's like, he got me the job. Meanwhile, he goes, they're fucking racist. Fuck them, right?
Yeah.
So he took all his clients. They were Martin Lawrence,
Whoa.
Chris Rock,
Okay.
Adele Givens, Joe Torre. Like,
Jesus Christ.
yeah, they started
Heavy
Def
hitters.
Jam.
I was gonna say,
Tommy
was-
Davidson. Like,
Was Comedy
holy
Def Jam
shit.
around yet? Or did he
no,
start it?
No, they started it
Jesus,
together.
that's a
Yeah, because
staple.
Martin was the host.
Fuck.
So he repped all these guys. Monteria Ivy, who did all the Yo Mama jokes, Yo Mama books.
Yeah.
All these, and so they all left. Billy was working out of a garage,
Wow.
and he built it
He
back
built this
up.
beautiful thing.
Yeah,
That's
He
crazy.
built it so,
That's so
big
cool.
that William Morris bought his company back.
Ah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So sick.
justice.
Yeah,
That's
sweet
beautiful.
justice.
And then he fell into the addiction.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I
Damn.
know. We all still go, like all the like Martin, Chris, that we talk about, like,
Damn. Yeah.
because he had it. He was so good. He was so good. But one of his clients had pure cut cocaine. That's how it started.
Oh.
He
Okay.
did it recreationally,
Oh.
and his client brought over. I don't know. That's none of my business. But he brought cocaine to the house.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
There was a lot of other stuff going on, but he was like, "Oh, you want to try some?" And Billy's like, "Yeah, I do. Coke, you know, once in a while.
Right.
Sure.
He doesn't cut
So
it.
it's usually cut with
Yeah, yeah.
another like Tylenol or like baby aspirin or something like that.
So anything on the streets is cut with hopefully not fentanyl, but a lot of stuff. And even fentanyl to a degree isn't super harmful, but it's still something cutting. it.
More than 2 crumbs. in your-
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so at least it's cut, but the pure cut, you can't get that high. You can't ever get that. You can't get that good of a high again.
Without pure cut or
Yeah.
without the
So
first time?
once you've tasted
So
it,
once
you're like,
and that was it.
Yeah.
Because he did it recreationally for years.
Damn.
No big
Right,
deal.
right,
Like,
right.
yeah, you know, every 2 years, whatever you want to call
Jesus.
it. Every year, once a year, like, hey, let's do that.
And that
as a
fucks with
joke.
your demeanor, right? Like cocaine, like you usually tell when somebody's on cocaine, they're an asshole.
Mhm.
They're just like mean. And I'm like, how are you having fun? No one around you's having fun.
He
like
w-
this is.
He was more of a connive, like a con person, because he
Oh.
went through all his money, you know,
With
and
the
then
coke.
it was
It's
just
that business
how can
mind,
I,
yeah,
how he
yeah.
wasn't mean. He was never mean.
Right.
I mean,
He
he
was
got mean with
strategizing.
me because you know I wasn't returning his calls, so
Yeah, of course.
But it wasn't like he would be mean to like people would meet him. And be like, he's great, but he got this girl pregnant, and then they both got arrested for drugs. This was after Bedford, and she had to have the baby in jail. What? And then his sister adopted the baby.
whoa,
Wow.
whoa.
It's good.
And he's
they were like, he
alive.
needs to be sober. Yeah, and then
he's
he has another
alive.
daughter. Yeah,
And with a partner, and he's wow.
and he's doing well. Luckily.
And his sister still has that child.
Yes.
Whoa.
That's impressive.
The sister knows, though. Obviously, she's not finding out on this podcast.
They
Kid always knew that.
Yeah, they helped me do an intervention on him. They helped me do a bunch of
fascinating.
Do
stuff.
an intervention. What's that? I've never been a part of that.
Scary and amazing, especially when you're doing it at the top of the hill in Beverly Hills.
Oh,
and you have
how
no business being there. You pull up in your Toyota Tercel.
You're like Kristen Wiig and Bridesmaids.
Yeah, that's how I felt. Every time I see her in that, I go, oh my God, that's so me. Every time, because also when we took him to Betty Ford, we took him and his brother. His brother is a big entertainment lawyer, and Michael Jackson was one of his clients.
Okay.
Shit.
He got some money.
Yeah, so he gave a Corniche as it's a Rolls Royce. It's a higher end. Corniche is like top of the line.
I love
yeah.
it.
He gave it to him as a gift.
Oh,
So we took that Corniche to Betty Ford. And so me and Billy were in the back seat. We had sex in the bathroom on the way there. It's so uncomfortable. I think in that dirty bathroom all the time.
Wait, which bathroom?
On the way to Palm Springs, we had a rest stop.
Well, you gotta get it in
great seeing you, Dice, because they're real good friends. You know, he knows all those guys. And so when he walked by, I go, why would you bring the love of my life to Eddie?
Yeah, that's not a good move.
He goes, he don't like you. But he was married, you know, whatever.
He's
So,
also
yeah.
comic on comic, that's acceptable.
Yeah,
No other
absolutely.
man can say that to any other woman, but comic on comic, that's heartwarming.
I wasn't
yeah.
a comic yet. So
But you
it's
had-
fair.
but you had the,
You had it in your heart.
You
Yeah.
had the chutzpah.
Yeah.
What a comedian already.
Yeah. So he, whatever, but it was just funny. And then we went to Vegas, and then we got back together, whatever. And I said yes. He bought me a ring, because I go, there's no ring. You know,
Yeah.
there's usually a ring, right?
There's usually a ring.
Not a Sylvester Stallone, but a ring. Yeah.
I'll take Sly as a
Yeah.
ring.
Yeah.
Right here, buddy. Wrong finger. But it's just, and then we went to Vegas, we got engaged, and I remember, like, when I went back to his house, and we picked the kids up from school, and his son Dylan came, like, flying, like, yes! And he jumped and, like,
Aw,
that's so sweet. Yeah, we're all still really close.
That's so sweet.
That's what I love about them. You know, the boys we always say that. The boys is why it was hard to leave.
Yeah. Damn. And then engagement number 3.
That was just, we were a wild pair. We were together for 5 years. He was great. I'd still be with him. Giant cock, giant cock. And Dice. I didn't really like get out a stick, but yeah, like a measuring stick.
Right.
Put it here.
Yeah.
But it was just, I mean, we were just wild together. And this is the weird part. This is where it gets real white trashy, if you will. Dice had met a girl, and they got married, and she was awesome. And I started dating her.
Oh.
And this was her.
That's so weird. Can't get away from each other.
Like when I started doing stand up, when I started touring with Andrew, he was like, she was dating my uncle. But he was younger than Andrew. Like it was just weird. Like we were closer in age. They grew up in LA. And, there was a lot of kids, and then like the girls had kids in high school. So
Yeah.
What did this guy do?
that is hard to explain.
Mafia?
He was in jail for 3 years. This is me reverting right back to time.
Yeah.
Where I grew up.
Yeah.
I'm a bad boy.
Yeah,
The love of my life
boy, Eleanor.
was the love of my life when I was in high school. He went to jail. Right out of high school, he went to jail. And
As you do.
Don't waste time.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Right as I moved to LA, he went to jail. And I was like, shit, because I was obsessed with him, and he didn't like me at all. So, and I knew he was getting into the bad side of shit, but I was still, if I'd see him, I'd be like, yeah, I can change him. Yeah. He's not gay. This is easy. Yeah.
He's not gay, he's just a bad person.
Right. Really bad person, by the way. By the way, like, if
yeah.
you Googled him, you'd be like, holy
Like a
shit.
murderer?
None of my business.
Okay, got it.
So funny.
So I was in love. My mom thought I made him up until she saw him on the news getting arrested, and she goes, "Oh my God, that's a real person."
Yeah.
Knight shining on. What did you think that was?
Mom's always underestimated us. I had been working with the guy who was the Chelsea rapist. I don't know if you
Oh
remember
my
that story from years
God.
ago. And my mom also was doubting me. And then I also but never charged.
Yeah.
Never had a run-in.
I don't have any felonies. Does that make
Nice.
sense?
I
But
love
I've
that
got-
for you.
Yeah, like I've gotten locked up and been put in a cop car.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And then, like my friend's mom would have to come get me because if I told my mom, it would just be.
Yeah.
That's how.
She's
she
done
just,
enough.
yeah. She's like, this kid's going to her father. Yeah, I want that.
You don't want to eat pizza every day.
Not that he would want me. Are we okay?
Oh no, he just gave me the 10-minute warning. That's all. That's
Got
all.
it. I like it. Yeah, he's been leaning over. I'm afraid he's gonna fall
Oh,
down.
yeah.
I was like,
I
no.
can't see.
He's like, excuse me. But yeah, so and then so I forget where we were.
The third guy was the uncle of
yeah,
Dice's
ex-wife.
part. Yeah.
I mean, he's still her uncle.
Yeah.
So,
And you guys had a wild time.
We did. We were wild. It was
What
just
does that
like
mean?
reverting
Like-
back to type. Like we were just. It was sex constant. It was just pure lust, if you will. And but he was a great guy. But he would get jealous, and I think and he was using a little bit. So I was like, I can't go down this
Just a
fucking
little?
road again.
Yeah.
Just a touch.
Okay, maybe a lot.
Right.
Yeah, no one really agrees.
It's
with
none of my
The word
business,
using
but-
is usually never implied for like dabbling.
Yeah. I mean, he was in prison for 3 years, and I said, why were you in prison? He goes, stuff.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, this is exactly what I wanted to marry.
Right.
How'd he propose?
No, we were just in Vegas. He's like, let's go get married. Like, and then he was like, we're doing it. We're getting married. So it was never like a full proposal, but I was kind of engaged because we were close. It was a couple times like we were pulling up.
Right. Wow.
And then
You just stopped.
Why'd you turn around?
And then I was like, oh, they're gonna kill me. My family will kill me. Oh, I'm so sorry. Like my family will kill me.
Yeah.
If I don't tell them, they'll just kill me. Something must have been in there going, don't tell them.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Okay.
Something must have been.
What was that breakup like? With a lusty
Well, that
relationship
was a
or
good
breakups?
one.
Yeah.
That was it. I forgot about that one. But he had pissed me off to the point of I'm very Irish and
Okay.
stubborn. And if I don't like you, I will just shut the fuck down and you don't exist.
Yeah.
There's Bobby Lee.
Yeah.
Very
Okay, so we fought a lot when I was waiting tables, and then he pissed me off, and I shut him down like he didn't exist.
Yeah.
And he would like scurry around me, and it was just like he goes, it was unbelievable the feeling that you could give. Because now we mended our 17-year battle.
Wow.
It can happen.
It happened, but I will. It's
Yeah.
like you're not even there.
Yeah.
And so this guy got me so pissed off, and it was I was doing the Kid Rock cruise. The night I never been on
I
a
mean,
cruise.
we're gonna need some
You had
details on that in a
most fun
moment.
life, Ellen.
No, we're gonna put a pin in that.
Kid Rock cruise.
Yes.
Yeah. We're gonna get that to that in a second.
Finish this and then we'll go back to the
Yeah.
Well, no, this is where the breakup is.
On the Kid Rock.
Kid Rock
So
cruise.
we're
You broke up
on
on the Kid Rock
So
cruise?
we're on the Kid Rock cruise.
Stop.
Well, I've never been on a cruise. I've never been on a
First one, might as
Maybe
well
on
be
a
Kid
boat.
Rock.
Yeah. So I'm like a nervous wreck. The night before, I say to him, just come up. He don't have a license. He lives in LA. Grew up in LA. Doesn't have a license. Again, none of my business. So he takes it Uber. I go take it Uber, or his neighbor would drive him. I'm calling him. He's nowhere to be found. I got a spot at the comedy store. My fucking bags are packed, and I'm a nervous wreck. He's not answering. So then he finally calls me like an hour and a half later, maybe 2 hours later, and he's like, I'm at your building. I'm like, then stay in the fucking alley, because I just got bumped by Seinfeld, and now I gotta fucking wait till he gets off. So and he goes, you gotta come get me. I'm not standing in the alley. I go, stand in the fucking alley. You're a big boy.
Yeah.
I lose it,
Yeah.
So I do my spot. I go back. He's pissed because the alley is dangerous.
Whatever. You get, yeah. You got
So
your own things, man.
Fuck him. And so I go back and we go in, and I'm fucking pissed. I'm shut down.
Yeah.
But I got no choice. I got a plane ticket.
Yeah.
He's on the boat. I already put it in the thing. I was so angry when I got on the boat. I was like, I'm canceling this gig. I'm getting off. I'm just gonna get off. I go, you gotta get out of this fucking room because I will throw you overboard.
Yeah.
So he left, and I go, I'm sorry, my anger is at an all-time high. He went upstairs, got all my credentials. He says, oh, Eleanor's not feeling good. She's downstairs, got all my shit. Came down, brought me like food. I fell asleep. The boat had left. Because sometimes when I'm so angry, I'll just go to sleep.
Yeah.
So the boat goes out. So I go, I don't even know how Kid Rock booked me. I've I got a fucking email. I have no idea. He saw me on Showtime
Oh,
and booked me.
so personally booked by
Personal,
Kid
wow.
Rock.
You were selected, hand selected by Kid
So
Rock.
now I'm like, that's awesome. Me and Kid Rock are hitting it off, and I'm getting better. I'm calming down. I'm
Yeah.
calming down. So we do the whole cruise, right? We get off, and I'm like, the whole time I'm like, I'm done with this fucking guy. In fact, I remember we had sex, and I was like, he goes, hey, this doesn't feel, you're not even into this. I go, I'm not, just hurry.
Oh!
And he's like,
my
I'll
heart.
go jerk off in the bathroom. I go, fine with
Good.
me. Like, I'm done, and
Yeah.
I never want this person near me again.
Yeah.
So we go to Miami Airport. This guy doesn't fly a lot. Like, he might go to Mexico and back to LA. That's it. And that's a drive. That's not a fly. So we're in the Miami Airport. I take him. I go, this is your flight. Get on. And I went like this, held it, and I
You fist
never
bumped it.
saw him again.
Fist bumped your fiance.
He would call me constantly, but physically I never. He's like, we need to see each other. We gotta talk this out. We gotta figure this out. Absolutely not.
No,
That's
you
your
bumped it.
That's your rules, motherfucker.
I told you, if you shut me down, we'll never see me again.
Wow. Respect.
Yeah, and I get so angry. But
Yeah,
Kid
yeah.
Rock was like, oh, what happened to your boyfriend? I'm like, fuck him.
Ex-boyfriend.
He would have been dead. But he thought I was fucking Kid Rock. He thought I was fucking this other guy in the band. Because they were so nice to me. And they would all come to the shows. They were like, you gotta see this girl. She's crazy. And I don't know if that's a compliment. But they would all come to the shows. The shows were packed. I was like, this is great. There's only one comic on the ship.
Just you?
Yeah, it did
That's
2 years. It's
that's
all bands and
incredible.
one comic.
Only comic.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
You
Well,
just-
maybe he did like
You just redeemed
great,
Kid
yeah.
Rock in my heart.
Oh, no,
yeah.
he's incredible.
Yeah.
He just brought me back to Nashville.
Doesn't he
like
live in the
2 years
Poconos?
ago.
Does he have like a house, a lake house in the Poconos?
He might.
I'm pretty sure like
12
I guess in
feet,
lake, but yeah.
he might, but he's in Nashville. I know that.
Oh, okay.
Because he brought me back to Nashville for the festival. We did a big show at the Ryman.
Oh, that's
It was
awesome.
great.
That's so
That
cool.
was a couple years ago.
Wow.
2 years ago? Something like that. Yeah, so we still keep in touch. So my friend called me and goes, hey, Kid Rock was on Joe Rogan. He mentioned you.
He loves you.
Well, he was just saying that he has comics on his cruise, so he said my name. He wasn't like,
Yeah, that's very cool.
you know.
You're the only comic on his cruise that one
Well, no,
year.
but he only had one comic, but he would switch them up.
Oh, okay.
I forget who.
So he's rotating one
Chris
comic.
Porter did it for a while.
Okay, yeah.
So he has like comics that he picked, but I guess I was the only chick.
Yeah,
So that was cool.
You should just play that clip of him saying that before you go on stage when you're on the road.
What?
I don't do, but just keep playing. I love it. That's
This is
great.
great. I already thought you were really cool, but now you're
Now
like
I'm sick,
now,
right?
No, you're so like
Well, sick is the way the
so
kids say it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you
sick. I love it.
You have a very interesting, like, so do you ever feel like, do you have any interest in, like, well, first of all, I want to point out, who would have thought the Andrew Dice Clay most stable relationship?
Right?
Yeah.
So my mother's
Wow.
my
Not
mom was
romantic
like,
gestures,
yeah,
no drug
that's
addiction.
true romantic. He is a hopeless romantic.
wild.
You know what, I believe it, because in that, the Woody Allen movie, Blue, whatever that he was in, he's like so good in that you're like, for someone to be that good of an actor, there has to be like something
hard.
there.
Sure.
Yeah, I was blown away by his
How about
performance
A
in
Star
that.
Is Born? I still
Oh
remember
my
that.
God, yeah.
And I saw the set with that. A lot of that got cut out. And he was a little bit upset about it. But I mean, like because it was so good.
Yeah.
But you could see Bradley had so much. It's so hard.
Yeah.
Part. So Andrew was like, "You should have kept my part." But
No, he's like a great, he should be in more. He's a great actor.
he's still even with what having to cut.
Yeah.
Scenes shorter, things like that is what I mean. Every
Yeah.
scene he did stayed in the movie, but just got. They have you can't have a 7-hour movie.
Yeah.
So.
Gotta kill your babies. Yeah.
Right. But even every scene he was in, stolen. There's a scene where he put Bradley Cooper in the shower, and you hear because he's crushing his daughter's heart. So the anger that he's yelling at him is like the love for his daughter. Oh, it's so good. I go crazy. Gorgeous. Yeah. He's an excellent actor. But yes, my mom was like, I can't believe you're dating Andrew Dice Clay, the guy who puts a cigarette in his ear. And I go, Mom, it goes all the way around. She goes, I don't give a shit. He's a foul mouth. Like,
Mom, it goes all the way
I
around.
don't give a fuck. He's a fucking potty mouth. Yeah. And then she loved him.
Oh, that's great.
She loved him. So he's great. So, because she saw him with his kids.
Yeah.
He also had a family. The other two didn't have families. shit down there. 80-year-old,
Behind that golf cart, baby.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
It's a great documentary.
Are you dating?
I haven't been. I was, then I wasn't. I go on and off.
Yeah. I feel like
I can't.
Yeah.
No patience. And like I do take care of my mom.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to see my mom. I don't care about you.
Right.
So are you how many other siblings do you take?
Oh, they're all still there.
They just do shifts?
It's just, dude, if you have that many boys, it's not going to work out. They stink at taking care of anything. And so it's me and my little sister Edie and my sister Karen. Because unfortunately, we lost my sister Kathleen. But my sister Karen lives like 45 minutes away, and she has grandkids. Like, she's on the older half.
Okay.
So me and Edie are the younger half. So everybody lives up the street or around the corner for the most part, except for 3.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah, so everybody's right there. So
Yeah.
if God forbid, you know.
Yeah.
But she, like I said, she don't like to get up. And so me and Edie gotta go like push her out of bed.
Yeah, yeah.
The boys are like, you coming? You know, they don't.
They don't get it.
I mean, she goes, I'm gonna die up here. They're not gonna notice anything. I go, yeah, probably. It'll be hilarious. It'll be a couple months. Definitely a couple months.
Real
Until the snow comes down. Yeah.
In a little row home, like, that smell. Same row home we grew up in, she said.
Wow.
Yeah, she paid her mortgage off. She said this was like 10 years ago. And I go, Mom, you should celebrate. That's a big deal. She goes, don't get excited. It took me 53 years to pay the mortgage. She went 7,500 she paid for the house. And then she remortgaged it so much that it was in the hundreds of thousands. Or maybe 80. Maybe it was up to that.
Oh wow. God.
Wow.
Now she can get like 3 something for it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's pretty amazing. She's awesome. Tam.
Well, she has an awesome daughter.
She got a bunch of awesome kids.
Yeah. Where can we find more of you? What would you like to promote? Or do you
my special.
Special, yeah.
It's called No Country for Old Women.
I love that title. That was so good.
And yeah, it's called, it's out on YouTube. It's on the Comedy Store YouTube channel.
Okay.
But you can put it just No Country for Old Women or Eleanor Kerrigan. It comes right up. And yeah, just check out my Instagram because you need followers.
sure it's possible to like cool and interesting things when you're in your teens, but you also have no idea who you are. There's a lot of pick-me energy lying around during this time period in general. Sure, but I mean, let's put the blame on your husband, not the barely legal teen.
Her prefrontal cortex still got 6 years to go.
Yeah. I, of course, was a bit alarmed at first when we started seeing each other otherwise a few years ago, and I learned of her and how this 23-year-old and my 41-year-old boyfriend at the time engaged in a whole lot of meme sending pet pics, sending selfies.
But it's like the worst part of it.
And generally keeping each other updated throughout the week on work happenings. That sounds like a nightmare. Things they found amusing or funny, and discussion about local politics, movie trailers for films they wanted to see, etc.
They both need friends.
Yeah, that was very descriptive. At the time, I was a little bit taken aback because these are relationship-y conversations that can build intimacy. I mean, there's also friendship, but there's just friendship doesn't exist between people of these two ages. And connection, and I felt like I wanted that space when we first started dating. I discussed it with him back then, and he insisted they were just like-minded platonic friends, and insisted that since he's bi, he couldn't have any friends if he followed his sexuality as a guide for friendship. Really made it convenient for himself there. When's the last time he had let a fucking dick in his ass? How bi are you,
How
sir?
man is he?
And basically said it was just my heteronormative worldview.
Okay, Mr. Bi, give me a fucking education.
Wow, this guy is fully railing everyone else. Worldview growing up in middle America that was informing my lack of trust in male-female friendships. This would make sense coming from a Gen Z person. Does not make sense from someone in his age bracket. Don't believe it. I call bullshit.
Yeah.
He watched a Gen Z interview one time, and he was like, I can use this for cheating
His
later.
words.
Yeah. Let me jot this down. He didn't have a good answer as to why he couldn't have friends his age to lean on.
Oh, so he's no friends his age? That's hilarious.
Jesus. I finally met her upon my insistence, and him eventually folding after I begged him repeatedly to invite her and her then fiance to dinner. We were meeting another friend from his small town who also gave me slightly flirty vibes with him, but whatever. She was a relatively mature 27 to his then 41. Okay, well, also you might just be really jealous. Upon meeting them, because I mean, how
Jesus
your boyfriend ever
Christ.
try to fuck your boyfriend?
Yeah.
Or husband? Upon meeting them both, I was very disarmed by the 23-year-old, and I found them both to be genuinely kind and fun to be around.
Okay.
All right.
Him fingering her. I walked in.
Fast forward to now, and he still engages with her a lot via text and social media.
Do you think it's fun?
Well, I guess like maybe like it just keeps popping up. Like, it changed the name. Well, honestly, just because like there is something like if something really isn't going on, I think changing the name is like actually fine because then it just makes I know it seems dishonest, but yeah, because it's just gonna bother you, and especially if there really is nothing there and you like the friendship. Like people tell each other change your relationships. Yeah, you're it's just your friend to have your life as long as you know you're being true. Because I do it. I just don't need to know because I'm not doing anything. And social media. I can't explain why it irks me so much, and I never want to be one of those women who challenge or confronted by younger women. And I got to myself many times if it's my own fear of aging that's forcing comparisons and making me feel envious, but I'm not sure that's it. I mean, I don't hurt. But also, I feel like, if there's a problem, there's a problem. It doesn't really matter if she's 26 or 36. Like, like this level, this amount, this volume of engagement seems like a lot, right? The now 26-year-old is newly single but dating someone else, and my husband has always had a very critical and dismissive tone towards the husbands and boyfriends of his female friends. And dear reader, I love the man, and I believe everyone should have friends, but goddamn, does this man have a fuck ton of female friendships, both historically and presently.
I mean, some guys just have a lot more female friends because women are more pleasant. And some guys just get along better with women.
He could be also a very, very like an emotional burden because those men love to have female friends because men don't tolerate that behavior. Right? On the one hand, I love this about him. On the other hand, I get change your hair looks good. That's like the most.
Yeah.
It's never anything.
Also, you could tell when you witness two people's bond, you could tell there's chemistry.
Yeah,
You can just tell.
we are very close friends, and obviously, like, it's so funny, like, to describe our vibe. Like, most people who came into our store, they didn't think we were dating. They thought we were married. So no chemistry.
Yikes. Yes,
no sexual chemistry.
Zero sexual
They thought we were fully
Sleeping in separate
married.
bedrooms for decades.
What should I do? The issue seems so full of gray areas and landmines, and I don't know how to process and proceed. Process. I mean, that's a very heavy word for something that's like light and easily nipped in the butt. Thank you. I love you, ladies, and you bring so much laughter and joy into the world. Keep on kicking ass. Much love, and anonymous fucker.
I think you need to confront your jealousy. I think that's really going to be the best thing because here's the deal. If he's fucking with this chick, you got to find out at some point, right? But it's like, why have a bad time on the way to there? You know what I mean? So, like, really take the stop. Enjoy the ride to get honestly, I missed it.
You should teach a course. You're very good at that.
Yeah.
Enjoying the ride.
Well, I would use this. I don't. Yeah, because I mean, I would use this as an opportunity to go like, what is it about me? Like, so all of the self-help, like kind of Buddhisty, more self-help books that I read are like, actually, this girl, like, there was an example. I think it was maybe a Pema Chodron one, where if you experience jealousy, if you're like a woman who gets really jealous, and then a new coworker is in your office and she's hotter than you, she's younger than you, she's elegant and great. Everybody loves her. She's charming. Yeah, she's everything you're not. And that woman's actually a gift. Okay, not an enemy. She's not the enemy. So this person is holding a mirror up to yourself because these feelings are residing in you, and there's nothing that's pushing me over the edge here to go. That's fucking weird. I haven't. Yeah, you haven't said anything that. So I'm like, I just think it's you versus you in the moment, and maybe your husband's a piece of shit fucking around, but I don't know. He could just like the attention of a younger woman. Every man does. Every man does.
I mean,
They get
like,
off on it.
I like the attention of a young hot chick.
Me too.
Who doesn't like the attention of a hot chick? I am like, yeah, I'm like boringly straight, and I like the attention
yeah.
of a hot chick. It
Yeah.
feels so good when a hot chick is like,
Oh my god,
nice
when
to
they
you.
follow you on Instagram,
It feels
and you're
great.
like, what? You have like over 1 million followers, and your
Yeah.
titties are so good.
Yeah,
You wanna follow me?
it feels real nice.
Are you gonna date me?
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, sorry. Yeah. So he might just be indulging in that, but either way, even if he is, that's first of all, he's not doing anything wrong still, and two, you gotta look at you. Boo. You gotta look in that mirror.
Yeah.
And go, let's deal with this.
Yeah. I think for this email, I'll just bring out one of my most common, but I think useful pieces of relationship advice, which is like, you just need to make the decision to trust someone sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah, and so
And allow them
you're
to
already
prove you right or
fucking
wrong.
married. If you can't make the decision to trust your spouse, quite frankly, you shouldn't have gotten married in the
Yes.
first place.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm not saying obviously husbands and wives deceive each other all the time, but like I think there's like very little here. And I'm not saying that to gaslight you or call you crazy or whatever. It's like this has been around a long time. So like either you do some like crazy snooping or you
Yeah.
just make the decision to trust your husband.
Yeah.
But what you can't do is continually ruminate on